I'm Casey.
And I'm Tyler.
And we are the Element. We travel the country, hunting a lot of public land, finding a lot of big deer.
We use onX almost exclusively to do that, to find the public land and to find the deer. There are lots of valuable features that onX offers that are valuable to us when we go to scouting, and we're going to talk about a few of those, right, Casey?
That's right. In 2020, I went in on a piece of secluded public land and use the onX crop data layer. It's one of the ones I really like, especially for some of those later seasons. This wasn't really late season, it was the second half of November, and I went in thinking about deer being in the rut still, but also gravitating towards food sources. I found a layer that was marked as wheat and correlated that to a piece of public land that bordered it, and was able to go in, navigate the border of that public land, set up where I knew deer would be crossing a water feature, and was able to pinpoint and get within 12 yards of a giant mid-140s public land buck and put an arrow in that deer. And I really couldn't have done it without using those features on onX.
Now, one of the things we do is we're just DIY. Like, we hunt a lot of public land. We're not scared of it by any means, but if we can find some private where we don't have to compete with people, that is a plus, right? Now, I was hunting last year on some good private and spending a lot of time chasing a couple of really big 10 points. I mean, one really big 10 point. And one evening, I decided the next day's wind is going to be really bad for both of my spots that I'm hunting these deer around. There was like 2 or 3 spots that I was hunting, and they were both, wind was terrible for. I was like, I just can't get away with it. I don't know what to do. And I'd busted the big deer that morning before, rattling at him, and got seen real bad in my tree. And so that next morning, I was kind of down in spirits. I'd been hunting a long time. It's still the rut, but I've been hunting for like 10 days straight coming into this morning. And I decided that night before that, I was just going to go try to find a random piece of public to sit on and just glass, and then go back to my normal patterns on hunting on that private land. And so I just, look on the map, pick a piece of public, and say I can sit here on this elevation right here and glass a lot of this stuff. It leads up to some ag maybe, and there's going to be some deer around, hopefully. And I get over there, and the craziest thing I may have ever had happen to me happened that morning. I shot the biggest deer I've ever shot after a spot and stalk situation in the middle of the day after seeing him bed with some does. It was insane. I mean, I freaked out, right? And you have to see it. If you haven't seen it,
it's a huge buck.
You got to go watch the video. It's on our YouTube channel, so while you're here, you can check that out. And there's more scouting videos that we offer over there too that show how we actually use onX in detail.
That's right. So I used the crop data layer and also just the detail of the onX aerial map. Tyler, which features did you use?
Well, I use the public land layer, which is pretty much just generic, right? But then I also use hybrid mode, which I always use to help me find the elevations to make that little spot and stalk in there without getting seen by that buck.
The great thing about onX is it's super user friendly, and it's great for the DIY hunter.